All right, y'all. I am back for part two. I still can't believe that I'm doing this. Somebody out here is going to be blessed by this story. It's going to be a few of y'all that's going to be blessed out about this story. Because, baby, I fought myself so much for this. Oh, geez, Louise. I can't believe that I'm even at part two for real, for real. Because talk about mask off. All right. Y'all ready? So I left y'all at what was, um, oh Lord, my speaker falling over. All right. So I left y'all at what appeared to be a blessing coming, right? The blessing. Oh, it was one of those moments where I was like, oh, yes, the Most High has heard me. You hear me? So if you were with me in part one, you know, I was at the extended stay. I had slept in my car before I got to the extended stay. I was trying to figure out which way was up. Baby, this is the time that I was writing my book, Special Needs, Special Love. And I was like in the final stages of it. So imagine trying to finish a book about love and healing and advocating for the success of your child when you don't even have a key to your own door. Like you are literally in an extended stay. Okay. So I literally had to come to the conclusion to tell the publisher of the book, I'm gonna have to halt everything. I have to focus on housing. This just isn't like it's just not the time. And then the publisher actually came back with a solution. The solution was to move into the publisher's house that was under his real estate company. Another mother and daughter lived there. So it appeared to be just what I needed for that time. The rent was semi-reasonable, it wasn't the greatest, but it was something doable. And desperate, me ready to come up out of that extended stay, I was like, okay, yes, I like it. Yes, let's do it. Okay. So wound up signing a lease for 6 months. And to me, that was enough time that I felt that I needed to turn this thing around. So, baby, during that stay, all hell broke loose. I spare the details. I'm gonna get right to it. My daughter's behaviors were like at a all-time high. My stress levels again was through the roof. I couldn't stand the person that I was. Like I was not myself. I tried every self-care technique that I knew. It was like I was tapping into the source and it was some good things that was going on. Yet I was still being left feeling so empty, like my finances were affected at this time. I literally went from having a business to like pretty much having to force myself into retirement. Like I talk about being retired from the business, but I like had to be forced to because the brick and mortar agreement went left. That's a whole nother story. Like literally nothing was up to par. Like I was in a downward spiral. I felt like I was losing everything. And when I looked around in my physical eyes, oh yeah, it was confirming like, girl, you losing everything, baby. And then it happened. The truth was revealed. The space that I was living in, y'all, it was not what it was presented to be. Like, it was the home of the publisher's girlfriend. She was renting it herself and she needed assistance with the rent. So they came up with the fake lease to make it seem legit because in North Carolina, you are not supposed to sublease when you are renting yourself. So all this was happening at the same time, y'all. Remember, spiral. So what do you think my mental state was? I'm in freaking shambles. And when I say I am in freaking shambles, I kept thinking back to how, and that is another story time. Like, boy, story times. Oh my God, if this is what this segment is going to be, I'm going to be telling y'all a lot. Um, so I was fighting so very hard for myself because I did not want to get back into the state that I was when I finally began to grieve over my mother. I literally wound up in the psychiatric ward. Yes. So in this moment, with me being in these shambles and everything downward, I was really working to tap into myself to where, number one, I didn't go out and start drinking and smoking heavily and everything, even though I was doing that stuff. Like I did not want to get myself to the point where, you know, I'm just not I'm not myself like I was that night that I had to go, after my mom. So here I am, the roommate, y'all. Ugh. So initially the connection was pretty good because I knew of the person. And so when we started talking, we had similar situations, you know what I'm saying? So it went from treating me like a person of I understand, we are on that same page to it almost feeling like we became arch enemies. It was crazy how the dynamic flipped so quickly, and I was just like, yo, she stated like one day she didn't want me and my daughter there anymore, due to my daughter's behaviors. And I was just like, what in the world? I'm in a financial strap. Like everything was just falling apart and trying to pay as much as I could while maintaining everything else. Baby, I was in a state of what the fuck? Like literally. And I knew all I kept looking at is this 6 months, I'd be able to get it on. Like, I knew that I could get back on, and all I desired was someone to offer me compassion at that time, because I know for many years I had supported others, and it felt at that moment like it just wasn't there. So I am going to say I had reached what the world calls rock bottom. Like I couldn't believe it. Like at this time, I was attempting to launch my coaching business then. I was on a podcast panel, I was bartending just to bring in money, I was taking pictures and smiling, and I was still a hot damn mess, y'all. Still a hot damn mess. And then one day I went to Atlanta for a meeting, hoping to see better for myself because I was trying, like opportunities was coming, and I was like, all right, this is it. This is the opportunity. So I was taking them. When I arrived back from that meeting in Atlanta, the space where me and my daughter was staying at, we were locked out, y'all. We talking about early in the AM. I'm trying to get my daughter to school, you know, and I had to call the cops to gain entry. My daughter was sitting up there, and mind y'all, this was not a good time because my baby had just stepped into womanhood. She was, it was a moment that, we should have a sharing in an intimate way, but instead, we were sitting there like calling the police, and it was hot. It was a hot ass day. Like this person really locked us out of the home. Me and my daughter was like floored. I called some family and friends over, accountability wise, because I was like, you cannot I need somebody here with me right now. So the police officers came, told me my rights, and said that the lady couldn't lock me out, and told me that the lady had also begun the process of evicting me out of the home, right, y'all? So I was like, mm. This is crazy. I can't believe this is happening. So I head back into the house, you know what I mean? Knowing that I needed a lawyer. I said that, I could have stayed there and I could get my items back in the room. And Imma pause right there because in my mind, I'm like, "What y'all mean, back in the room?" When I say get my items back in the room, the sad lady had touched all of my items and removed all of them and placed them in bags in the garage. She touched everything down to my mother's urn, down to my spiritual items, AKA my altar. I was so angry. And to top it off, when I came into the house, she had a nerve to try to badger me and try to throw my name like in mud. And she had a friend there who assisted her. And that friend was talking nothing but negativity against me and towards me. You know, I'm a Taurus. I held my own and I stood up for myself. I, with the assistance of my family and friends, helped me move my stuff back in there. I secured a lawyer. Imma take a pause right there, though. She touched my altar. Now let's get a little spiritual here. One of the things that lady mishandled being my altar, you have to understand touching someone else's altar is not just moving furniture. That is a portal. That is a sacred space of communication between me and the Most High and my ancestors. Baby, when you touch an altar with malicious intent, you are affecting the energy of the person it belongs to, and you are also inviting a heavy price onto yourself. You are playing with forces that you do not understand. Ooh, okay. Just had to throw that in there. So, y'all, you know, I am shaking. That's how mad I am. And I knew what I meant. Like, she had crossed a line that was not physical. She crossed a spiritual line. Yeah. So in the meantime, I made accommodations for my daughter to literally go down south to family. Remember back in the day when they said just send them down south? So I did. I made moves for my daughter to do that. So the tension between us wouldn't be there. You know, I can secure a public defender for free. Um, I can handle my business. So, baby, I was consistently at my altar. I did rebuild it in the home, you know, temporarily, cleansed the energy and stuff, got rid of the stuff that was supposed to. I was keeping myself grounded. And then, y'all, I went to court that day ready for whatever the outcome was going to be. I was ready to represent myself in this case. I went with my spiritual team on my side. That's the Most High, my ancestors, my spirit guides. Baby, they were walking right in there with me. As I sat in the courtroom waiting, right? I'm just waiting, ready, ready, ready. And someone called my name, came in and called my name, and I looked and it was this guy over in the corner. My public defender was there. I wasn't sure if he was gonna come or not, and he made me aware of that. So he called me outside of the courtroom. He talked to me about everything and all the possible outcomes, told me he was gonna represent me. He was there to help me. He was gonna work to get the best outcome, right? So we went back into the room. We waited as the judge finished up on the first session and started the second session. My session actually ran a little late. And so guess what? My was the first docket. My lawyer stood up. He told his spill, said that he was going to be representing me, that I was there, whatever, whatever. So then the other party's name was called. Nothing. Called again. Nothing. Called a final time. Nothing. She never came to court, y'all. The court ruled in my favor, threw it all out. I can't tell you the joy that I felt leaving out of that courtroom. I left that rising scared, yet I was still showing up. I had never been in that position, and I won. When I returned to the house, I was ready for the next step with packing up my stuff, and I felt so much safety and sureness because I knew I was packing with intention because if I won, that means that the next step was coming. I had did it, y'all. I got back on track. Okay. The lady actually apologized to me, and guess what? She apologized. And the same time that I had to move that she enforced was the same time that she actually had to move. The rental company decided to evict everyone and everyone had to get out. So in the middle of September, we all had to leave. Y'all, I had asked the Most High for a way out, and the Most High cleared the whole house out. Yeah. So all right, y'all. I'm getting sleepy. I'm about to sip on my little butterfly PT. I be liking to drink it at night, y'all, to settle my body down. Uh, We got part 3 coming. If you've been rocking with me for part 1 and part 2, I hope that this is really blessing your spirit. Y'all, yeah, it went down like that. So thank you for tuning in to another segment of this. The series was downloaded for me. I was like, okay, here we go. I got these, I'm getting these downloads and these series just keep coming and stuff. So I am going with the flow, something that I have not done before. I usually try to control everything and the space that I'm in, baby, it's it's all about the flow. And I'm just so excited to where I'm at in the space that I'm in that I love the way that this going. I love where this is going. Cause baby, from what I've seen and what I've been through, I know the only way is up now. All right, y'all. So I will see y'all in part 3. Oh my goodness, the finale. That's the last part. I'm gonna tie it all together and let you know what Spirit has for us. Um, Thank you for journeying with me. Thank you for healing out loud with me. Thank you for listening to this lady here, as I take off the many layers of mask that I have put on for so many years. And I embrace every part of me, the ashamed part, which is this part coming out right now, so that people can really understand who I am and where I'm coming from. This is just not a person that pops up on your screen every once in a while and drops some stuff on you. And this is a real life person that is going through some things and have gone through some things and continue to move forward in life. I decided to do these in my comfort, um, bringing you the real me. And I'm doing it close to my bedtime when I'm sleepy too. So, yeah, you're getting the full wind down me, especially the blanket. People who know me know I love a good blanket. And I've been finding some when I decorate for the seasons and stuff. I decorate for the 4 seasons in my home, so I switch up the vibe. It feels so good to do that. Like it's just a shift. It's that minor shift that just feels so great, the little things, the little minor adjustment. I love to see changes. I don't like being the same anymore. So thank you for tuning in. I'm babbling. I'm tired. I will talk to you guys later. We did another one. Yay.